and welcome back to my channel. Or if this is your first video to watch, we just left the Vatican and are on our way to the Spanish Steps and Trevi Fountain. So I'm just jumping right in today, honestly, because there is a lot to see. And we started doing this around like 2 or 3 o'clock, and our tour ended around 5, between 5ish and 6, I think. So it was pretty packed together, but you will see we are driving through the streets of Rome, and she is about to tell us some information as we go along, as well as when we get to the Spanish Steps and the Trevi Fountain and everything. So I didn't take a lot of footage because I was under the assumption that I would be back, and we were going to go back and visit, but unfortunately we never done that. But it's my own fault. I did not want to wake up at 4 a.m. the day we left.
This column, it is a perfect documentation of the military campaign the Romans had when the territories of the modern Germany were taken. So the barbarian tribes were defeated by Emperor Marcus Aurelius. The buildings around are all part of political institution sites. So this one white with the flags, Italian and European flags. This is the seat of the Prime Minister. And the building just next, you see other flags to the left, that is the Parliament. So this is the political heart of all Italy. Wow.
So this is going into the Trevi Fountain. You can see the amount of people that's here. It was very crowded because it's like middle of the day, well, in the afternoon, peak travel time, I guess, tourist area. And so this is why I really did not want to come here at this time, but she was our guide. She knew what she was doing. She knew how to get us a really good view of it and just kind of jump right in there. Now if you're coming here, I don't know if I'd recommend coming at this time, but it's still okay. Like, there are areas that you can still go here, still feel like you're getting to see everything, take as much time as you need. And so if you're on your own, that's okay. But if you're, obviously we were with her and we were okay with it. So she did give us some information. She also gave us coins to toss into the fountain, so that was really nice. Now I do believe that it would have been a little bit better had we come when I said I was going to, but I just could not make myself get up that last day. I do really regret not doing that, but it was still really nice to see the Trevi Fountain, and she did give us some additional information that I did not get recordings of, so that was
from that one, and crossing all the crowd is very complicated. Because this is where
And after that, we were going to the Spanish Steps, but look at this pink scooter. I love that. I would probably wreck it in 5 seconds, though.
All the cities named after the saints. All the cities in California, but also in Florida, St. Augustine.
So I really messed up, honestly, because I don't have a single picture, a single video, or anything of the Spanish Steps, because I was like, oh, we're coming back. So that's on me. I mean, sorry about that. But we will be back at some point. I don't know when, but we'll be back for sure.
Remained as a property of the Catholic Church. One to represent the United States, the very first one that remained just alive. In the same days, in the 1620s, the buildings were done, and so this part of Rome, it is the very first that was first designed on a paper. Very different. It's different from the place where you're staying.
Yeah.
Irregular, narrow. Instead in here it's very wide. Yes. And this always called the Piazza di Spagna. Spanish and Iraq. Not Iraq. Yes, these are the so-called Spanish steps, but actually the real name is Trinity. Trinity because they are recalling the Trinity. They are divided in 3 terraces. Piazza di Spagna, but it's just a nickname. You remember, right? During one of the floodings of the river Tiber, a boat from the river the fountain of the broken boat.
It looks like a flower.
Yes, sinking boat, and it is to recall that there's a part of Bulgari, the jeweler, that opened there in 1901. Bulgari was a jeweler that made with printing of the monuments of Rome. So we can say he invented the souvenirs. So every person that visited Rome stopped here.
And then we're off again to Piazza Navona. I did not record any of the driving scenes or anything, but that is where we're going next.
The movie Eat, Pray and Love with Julia Roberts was made. It was video film. This is where she was eating the pizza. But this restaurant doesn't serve pizza. It's just the perfect location, yes. We are just on the sit, relax, and sometimes you see all kinds of retired playing chess. Yes. Exactly. Now you see what's happening here. This is the entrance to an ancient stadium built the same day the Colosseum was built. The stadium stays underneath our feet. People living in these apartments excavated with their own money to see if the stadium was still here. And it is still here. So they just opened that museum. This is private. Unfortunately, because of the Jubilee, the three fountains in the middle of the piazza are under restoration.
We walked this way too yesterday and we saw the wood and stuff, so we just kept walking.
You see what is there?
We did.
Piazza Navona, underneath there's written Stadio di Domiziano, Domitian Stadium. This was the path. But of course, meters and meters deeper, there's a gap of about 15 feet. That's one of the fountains.
Again, sad I didn't get to go and see the actual fountains in person. They were behind that being restored, but that just means we have to come back and see it again. But I want to say something about pickpocketers. Now here obviously is not that crowded, but the last two places were extremely crowded. We actually did not have any issues getting pickpocketed. You can see the way my mom's holding onto her bag, so it would have made it very difficult to have that. But with the car and everything, I just left my bag in there and just brought my phone with me because I knew we were going to be getting back into the car. But if you're not careful, I could see how it's extremely easy.
Christmas market. The Christmas market is always here, and usually at night or after the sunset. This is where there are all street artists, so many painters, singers, street artists that perform art. Actually, you're very close with your tail from here. You're very, very close.
We walked this far.
It didn't take that long to get here.
Of course, we were just kind of strolling.
Yeah, sure.
I actually loved where our hotel was located. It was easily accessible to all the areas like this, and I will definitely recommend staying at that hotel again, and also considering staying there the next time we go in Rome because it was just so nice and in such a great area, and I did not feel unsafe at
Of
all.
course, you pay a little bit more. They are more expensive than the others because the view is phenomenal.
Right.
Here's that thing.
The steak that is a ball of chocolate with whipped cream. It is called tartufo. It is amazing.
Take a picture of that.
Also, if you want to walk this level,
I love seeing all the dogs, but we didn't get to try that chocolate thing. Honestly, forgot all about it, and I wish we would have got that because it looks so good.
She's one of the painters, so now she goes there. She
Oh, she
opens
goes. Because it's cooler in the evening.
And those little squeaky things that those people are just trying to get people to buy, oh my goodness, I wanted one of those so badly, but my mom made a good point that even if I would have got one, it would have been really hard getting on the plane, and I'm afraid it would have busted, and it would have just been a mess, so there's no way I could have got that back home. But here she's just taking us to give us some more information. We'll walk back through here, and then next stop is the Pantheon, and that is where we went the day before, but we're actually getting to go inside of that this time.
You see this tower? This tower is 100 years old. And this is how the Middle Ages wrote. Not much decoration, and then you see in the Middle Ages.
So I think around this point of the day we were both very tired. We had been going full force for the past 12, 13, I don't even know how many days, and then this was an extremely long day just walking, getting a lot of information, but I'm so glad we done it. And I was just talking about how I hadn't had to need or didn't use the fan the whole day, and so that was really nice having the car just being to go in and out of that. Yeah, this was such a great tour, and I'll definitely tell more info on that in a little bit when you see us going through other stuff.
In the 1600s, the one we saw the statue this morning in the Capitol Museum, Pope Innocent, not very innocently, confiscated. All the buildings existed on this part of the place. The ones that were built technically. So this is why you had it on. So that the fountain made in here by Bernini was actually a homage. No, the world. So this is to show that the there's no way I can describe you what this is. From the outside it's beautiful, but not as much as it is inside. Exactly.
Please.
The walls are created with marble. There's no painting, no. The only thing that on the seal and the dome, it is all marble, 4 glass roof. And you see there, the marble is chiseled to give the sense of the depth.
So it's so weird to see a building that looked like that and then come in here and see this beautiful church. We saw so many churches on this trip, and we see more tomorrow during that tour, but it's just so weird to think that the Vatican is this great, amazing, obviously church for the Catholic Church, and all the artwork from famous artists, especially from like I think it's the Renaissance period, and then to go to churches like this that wouldn't, I guess in their view at the time wouldn't even compare to that, but it's still equally as beautiful. So weird to see buildings and things like that, and then go in and see a completely different thing, because there's no way I would have thought that was the inside of that church or that building. But then we walked back around, so I really did enjoy seeing all of the people around and just we just don't have things like this here. I live in a very small town, and so we don't have anything comparable to that at all here. So it's a little different. Now I know in bigger cities that there's things like that, but it was really nice to just get to walk around and almost, just be in Rome and walk around and tour everything.
Oh. Since 1798. So anytime there's a new pope that has to be elected, they have to get ready with foresight as
So I think she was actually showing us where the popes get their clothes from, and telling us a little bit of the election, which would have actually happened the next year when that pope had passed away. But it's also really nice to go to really tourist areas because they have music playing and there's just so much different stuff. I know it's just to get tourists, to give them money and, get money and everything, but I really did kind of like being in the touristy areas, especially over here by the Pantheon. We actually passed by here several times in our time in Rome, just the few days that we were here. But glad that we did have an experienced tour guide with us to give us the inside and the background information once we go into there. But I know we had been here the previous day, we just didn't get to go inside the Pantheon. So if we ever go back, I know I will want a tour guide for some things that we missed and everything, but would just enjoy walking around Rome. That was the best part.
the bricks was visible. It is all layered by marble, as you see in this little portion here. Okay. These columns are one piece of granite, and this granite was quarried in Egypt. They transported this first along the desert, then they shipped the column along the river Nile. Then the column was transferred on a huge ship across the Mediterranean Sea, and then it arrived at the harbor by the coast of Rome to be shipped on the local river upstream. Upstream means there were elephants that carried those boats walking on the side of the river, and then cranes here to lift them up.
Wow.
This was the biggest and most important sanctuary at the time of the Romans. See, one monolithic piece, one single piece of granite. And also, this here is the most ancient store still operating in the world. The store is 125 AD.
Wow.
Yes, have the pumpkin working as a sundial. You see the ray of sun on the sun here, and the sun goes into this white ring, this line, and it indicates you the calendar. Blueprint of the structure, it's very original. So this circle and this square, if you build up this in 3D, you have a perfect sphere. And geometrically, church that was taken by the Italian government, because previously this was a Roman sanctuary. So this is the reason why here we have the various lights of the first king of Italy, Italian manuals, and the second we have the colors of Italy on
the green one. So this is the best pizza. One.
Yes, I think it's the best. It's the original.
So what I had today.
From here, going to the middle, you have several holes, and the floor of over there goes down in a slope, a little soft slope, but that is enough to concentrate the water when it rains down here. It's the burial place of Raphael. Remember a painter we saw who works in the
So she was actually talking about Raphael, who is buried here in the Pantheon, which was really cool. But you probably can tell in my reactions that I'm not very enthusiastic. Well, in person I'm not like that either, but I really was not feeling it this time. I was just so tired again. But it's still really cool to think back and see all of this stuff and get all the information again, because again, I have completely forgot all of this information that we learned.
Then, as usual, when the river flooded, some part of it got filled after that. So this is why there's this gap. It's all the marble was around it.
Oh, I thought, okay. We're here.
I didn't say that.
From the outside, it's so severe
Yeah,
that you don't expect anything of the beauty.
that's what a lot of places would tell you. Said if you're walking and you see a church, go in it, because it just might be one that's not, you know.
And you said there were 365? Is that like churches
365 churches
in Rome?
1%.
I really liked this church too. I think it was because of the stained glasses, but I also thought that that's a really cool fun fact of Rome, that there are actually 365 churches in Rome. So that was really cool to think. But yeah, we had passed by here, no idea it was a church the day before, but it's so pretty. I loved all the stained glass windows. She didn't tell us just a ton of info on this one, but it's still really good to go and look at. I really enjoyed it.
It's the only church in Rome that has a stained glass at the window.
Wow. So I know I keep saying in these videos that if we ever go back to Rome, we're going to do this, this, and this. But it makes me really want to go in just random buildings. I know one time I'd probably walk into like the Rome building at that time, but still just to see what's in there. I'm a nosy person anyway, so that just seems right up my alley to just go into random buildings and just see what it looks like in the inside.
Do you see the organs?
Oh yeah.
When you play, you feel the music.
Ew. On your white shoes of all things.
Easy, get it off. Oh, do better.
Ew, we got on your pants.
Where?
A splatter. So this was literally right outside of the hotel when disaster struck, and then got it on her white shoes. Oh, that's disgusting. But yeah, so I'm going to tell a little bit about this tour group that we used. So this was called Live Tours. I will try to find a price right now of how much, a rough estimate of how much it was. Well, now I know why we had such a good tour, because this tour actually cost €2,792. So that is a lot of money. And I think this, okay, so that price was actually including the chauffeur. So if you were to just go and get this tour and get it through the website, it does include the chauffeur in between the items and the stuff. But I believe to include this extra additional cost, which I believe was €90, was just for them to pick you up and drop you off where your hotel is. So we did pay a little extra for that, and honestly I don't know if that was exactly worth it. We were to ever do this again, but looking at that price, I don't know if we will or not. But I mean, it was so worth it, honestly, especially with this being our first time in Rome. We got to see literally every site. Our tour guides were so informative. We were a little bummed that we weren't going to get to see our tour guide the next day, but we had an equally as good tour guide here. So real quick, we're actually trying to walk to this restaurant. I think it's called Roski or something. I'll insert a screenshot of where we were trying to go, but they did not have any reservations, so I had to turn back around and go to literally right next to our hotel. And that one was okay. I just wanted to try something different, but I will definitely be looking up restaurants, gelato places, and everything before our trip the next time, so that way we're better informed, because I did not do a good job of researching just a lot of stuff about Rome for this trip. But going back to the tour, that tour really was great, and they were very informative. They had a lot of information to give. I felt it was just more personable to get to see all this stuff. But this is the restaurant we were trying to go to, and I will tell a little bit more about all of that tours later. And that lemon tea that she was drinking was actually really good, and there's our hotel, literally steps away. The food is okay, but I did enjoy the other restaurant we went to twice better. Ketchup, pepe, and you got eggplant parmesan. That was pretty good. And bread.
Gotta pay first. For table 11. Okay. Where's he going?
Done mie venete qua, con ciascuno toccherà, l'uomo splenderà, ecco del culo più mamma mia, che la luna, e il mare, mamma mia.
I loved getting serenaded by that little guy who was singing. That was so Italy. I felt like I was in Italy, which obviously we were, but you know, never expected that to happen. But I'm really glad we were there and ate at that restaurant. So this is us just walking to our place, a gelato place. It's called Gelato, and let me tell you, so now that it's in the future, there is a movie coming out, Spider-Man, and it's got Tom Holland and Zendaya in it, and so there's an interview clip of them. I may try to insert it here, but if I don't, oh well. And he interrupts her interview and is like, hey, what gelato place are we going to? And she says Gelato. And when I saw that video, I was like, I've ate here before. This is where we were trying to go to. But can you believe after walking all day on that tour and stuff, we're still walking further, because it took us about a good 20-30 minutes, I think, to get here to the gelato place from our hotel. But it was okay. We do go to a better gelato place, in my opinion, later. Senate. Hey, and that's the Palazzo Navona. Piazza, not Palazzo. Piazza. I was hoping they'd have sbacciatella. Not sbacciatella. That looks delicious. That is true Italian. Can we walk in that McDonald's? Sorry, maybe they think I don't care. You want to go in there and look around? Let's look at their menu. Yeah, they do. Snickers, Smarties. That would be good. Hey, they have macarons. They have spicy chicken nuggets. Parmigiano Reggiano and pear sauce. Ew. It just felt right walking into that bakery and that place and then that music playing. It just felt so Italian coded. And then in true American fashion, we went to the McDonald's next door, but we didn't get anything from there. I don't think we ate at McDonald's the entire time we were in Italy, actually. But yeah, so this was just a really nice night. I did not feel unsafe at all walking to this place. There were obviously a lot of people walking, not in the same time. There were a little areas that we got to where it was, there's no one around us, but I did not feel unsafe at all this whole time. And I wouldn't have felt unsafe even if it was dark at night either, because, there's going to be someone around most of the time. But now going back to the tours, and I just loved walking too, because you can just hear people playing music, like right in here in just a few seconds, they're playing music on the street, which is really nice. But anyways, going back to the tour, so lift tours, I really would recommend them. It was a very customizable tour. Like the Pantheon is not typically included in the tour we done, but they did add it for us, and we were unable to get the Borghese Gallery because I booked this tour, I think it was like a month or two before, and they had ran out of tickets for the Borghese Gallery, which was unfortunately, but we do go there with another tour group through Viator tomorrow, so you'll get to see that in the upcoming vlogs. But yeah, the live tours was just such a good tour. Now that I know the price, I don't know how that stacks up if we were to be doing that each individual thing that we went to with the tour guide through like tour services like Viator. Might would have ended up the same, but I'm just glad that we went with live tours. So obviously our next time we go there might not be willing to spend that amount of money because we've already done it, but for first time it was a must. So this place was definitely crowded, but the best I can remember is you order, like, say, I think I got a cone, and so I ordered a cone with however many scoops. This is just how I'm assuming that it was done. Then you go over here, give them your ticket, and then tell them what flavor you want. And as you can see, they have a ton of flavors. My mom ended up not even getting gelato, which was a crime, honestly, but yeah, it was pretty good. I think I got stracciatella. I don't know if I pronounced that correct, but it's basically vanilla with chocolate chips, and that's one of my favorite gelato flavors, especially in the Italy Pavilion at Epcot. But yeah, this was really best I can remember, good gelato. But the next night, and it's right next to our hotel that we stayed at, it's called Merivale. That, in my opinion, was the best gelato I had had in Italy, or I think even throughout the whole trip. So if we're going there, try this out for sure, because it seemed like it was very popular, but it was just a little too chaotic, and I'll say that in the next clip as well. That was too chaotic for me. Gelato. And then it was time to go back to our room at the hotel, and so now we're just walking back. And I think this was possibly the night that we ended up getting our extra suitcase, because the wheel fell off my mom's suitcase, which was very unfortunate, but also a little funny. One thing to note on transfers and stuff, make sure that you get a van. That's my one complaint about live tours, is because they would not send a van to come pick us up, and they would not refund us. Real quick though, this was one of the Osteria de Fortunatas. That was my favorite restaurant that we ate at. I loved it so much, and there she is making the pasta, but this was a different location. The one we went to was the one that was close to our hotel in the Campo di Fieri area. But yeah, that's my one complaint with Live Tours. Did not refund us or anything because I did not request a van, and they could not take us because we had so much luggage, and caused a whole series of events that day, which led me to cry later in the day. But we made it, and we are in Rome and had a great time and on our first day. But one thing also to note is we did go into the supermarket and look at all of this stuff, and that was really cool to see all of the different things. One thing I'm a little sad about is the camera quality on these videos in here, because I was just going so fast trying to look at everything because my mom was really ready to go. But it was really cool to just see all this stuff they had. They even had stracciatella yogurt, so I wish I would have got one of those just to try it, but there's always next time. I looked at the pasta, and then I looked in the back, and they have like deli meats, fresh baked bread, which was really cool. Olives that I love olives that I wish I could have got to get and just try some, but like I said, at that point we were so full and did not want to eat anything else. But this was such a good day, honestly. Our first full day in Rome. Our next day is a full day packed with everything, but we were just so tired. That's the only problem that we really had. But it was still really nice to just go and see everything, and getting to go and see major things like the Vatican, and then tomorrow the Colosseum, and just seeing all of that in person that you see on TV, on TikToks, on little videos, pictures of it, compares to nothing when you get to actually see it in person. But I really kind of wish I would have got some pasta or looked for some cheese ravioli. Trader Joe's used to have some, and they quit selling it, which was really unfortunate, but I wish I would have tried to find some a little bit harder than just looking around in this store. But I think I just wanted something to do, as if I had not done stuff the whole day, and as if I did not needed to get back to the room to pack up all of my stuff. But that's besides the point. We had a great time, and we are about to start wrapping this up. We walked several thousand steps. I think my mom's watch, and I'll insert a screenshot, but this is what I was talking about. And that looks like a tiny octopus that they've got. They got mushrooms, artichokes, olives. It looks so good, and I wish I would have tried or went back in there at some point to get them. But and that is the bread that I was talking about, fresh baked bread. But I believe my mom had walked 18,000 steps, so I'm sure I walked somewhere around that time, or that amount of steps in there. So we got a full day of walking. This was nothing like Disney, but also similar. Obviously the walking and stuff was a lot, but we really did enjoy this day. And here we are going back down the street because my mom had saw a store she wanted to see, but at this point it was 8 o'clock at night, and so everything was closing, so we did not get to go into that store. So she was a little upset, but I think we went back the next day or found something else that we wanted to get instead. So we had a great day. I've enjoyed going through all of these vlogs, seeing all this stuff that I truly had forgot about because it had been, 2 years almost to the day. But it was really nice seeing all this, and it's really making me want to go back. So next year, I'm going to keep fingers crossed that we can get to go back. Maybe not as long of a time, and because, we've already hit the high points, so we really just would want to go back just to see, I won't say the low points, but just to kind of explore Italy and see what was going on there. But anyways, thank y'all so much for watching. If you're liking these videos, please like and subscribe. After this series ends, I've got another really exciting series that's going to start that we just went to this summer. So if you're interested in that, please just keep watching, and thank you again for watching. And I will see you in the next week with our second day in Rome.